Welcome to this channel where we explore spirituality, meditation, self-awareness, and esoteric philosophies, all with the goal of helping you tap into your own wisdom. In this video, we will see what insights dreams can reveal to us about reality. Many esoteric philosophies and religions consider life to be a dreamlike illusion. And today we will reflect together on why this may be true. The most important insight that dreams can give us is that what we call reality may be the product of our own consciousness. That the material world only appears as an objective reality, but it's actually just a mental projection. That's because when you dream, your consciousness creates a whole 3D reality with separate people and a seemingly solid world. And you experience this dream from the point of view of a separate entity. And other characters exist as separate entities too. And when you wake up, you realize that it was you all along. It's one consciousness that creates the illusion of separation and multiplicity. When one investigates the nature of the mind and its projections, it becomes clear that the entire world is like a dream. The mind creates the illusion of a separate reality, but in truth, there is only the eternal unchanging self. Ramana Maharshi. So, if this life is an illusion, how can we wake up from it? When you're dreaming, sometimes you can actually realize that you're in a dream while still asleep. That's what we call lucid dreaming. It usually happens when something really strange or ridiculous is going on in the dream, and it makes you stop and think, wait a minute, this can't be real. The difficulty is that when you are fully immersed in a dream, you don't recognize the crazy things that happen. You may dream that you can fly or that animals can talk, but you don't usually question it during the dream, and you only realize how absurd that was when you wake up. This place is a dream. Only a sleeper considers it real. Then death comes like dawn, and you wake up laughing at what you thought was your grief. Rumi. In the same way, you can wait for the end of this illusion, which is death, to wake up from it. Or you can learn to observe objectively and reflect on the inconsistencies of your current perception. By taking a step back and shedding light on your conflicting thoughts, you start dissolving your old beliefs that once hypnotized you, and you become more and more lucid in your everyday life. And that is why many spiritual schools instruct their disciples to question everything. And the most important question across many spiritual schools like Buddhism, Jnana Yoga, Advaita Vedanta, Sufism, and mystical Christianity is the question, who am I? They all prompt the spiritual seeker to question their identification with the mind, body, and ego, or persona, and to meditate deeply on their true nature. In dreams, our identities often shift and transform. We don't always see ourselves as we are in the waking world. For instance, we can experience dreams where we take on different personas, embody the opposite gender, or even become animals, which hints that our true nature is not limited to our current persona. However, the most interesting one is when we seem to exist without any physical form. We are just aware of the events without having a body. We can have different points of view that are not restricted by being someone. This indicates that our ultimate nature is not limited to the person we think ourselves to be. Our true nature may be awareness itself. just like all these spiritual teachings are suggesting. That consciousness is not the result of having a body, that having a body may actually be the experience of this broader consciousness. This perspective is not exclusively entertained by spiritual teachers. It has also been suggested by many of our greatest scientific figures. A human being is a part of the whole, called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. Albert Einstein. In truth, there is only one mind. Erwin Schrödinger, one of the founders of quantum physics. This insight comes from my own experiences in lucid dreams. Sometimes I am aware that it's a dream, yet I find myself absorbed by the dream's content. Although I know I'm dreaming, my lucidity is partial, and it's only when I wake up that I realize my lucidity was compromised. In the same way, we can glimpse at the dreamlike nature of this reality, yet this realization can be partial, and we still experience a flawed perception of the world. We can pierce into a more accurate perception, but we don't fully embody it. As opposed to enlightened beings who allegedly live this truth as an unshakable perception. And similarly, many people who are considered enlightened and have a profound understanding of our existence may still have flawed perception of the world and doubtful behaviors. So we must always separate the insight from the person, and it's best to reflect on everything with fresh eyes and give all perspectives a fair shot. And one of the most precious insights that I had while partially lucid was when I spent the whole dream desperately trying to convince my friend that this was a dream. But if I was really lucid, I would have recognized that my friend was also part of my dream. Likewise, I have found myself trying to convince others of a newfound perspective or insight, only to realize that when I'm lucid, I don't feel the urge to preach or to convince others. It's only when I don't fully embody the truth that I'm sharing that I want others to agree with me. This taught me to take a step back whenever I find myself desperately trying to change others' perspective. I am constantly reminded to redirect my attention inwardly and to question my own state of consciousness. And I have found that the more lucid I am, as opposed to absent-minded, the urge to change others lessens, and all I'm left with is the intention of expressing myself truthfully, as I am reminded that I'm still under the influence of this almighty dream, and my perspective is still limited, that I am only partially lucid. Most esoteric philosophies and spiritual teachings consider life an illusion. Hindus call it Maya, Buddhists call it Samsara, and our modern mind has a hard time grasping that reality is an illusion. And that's because we think illusion means unreal. And so, how can our life be an illusion when it's all we know? But when we say reality is an illusion, that doesn't mean that it isn't real. It simply means that our understanding of reality, our perception is narrow, just like when we are dreaming. A dream is real because it really happens, but our perception of that dream while in it is inaccurate. And that's the illusion we are talking about. That's why it's said that reality is both real and unreal. What is real about our current experience? It could be an illusion. It doesn't mean say that it's not real. It doesn't mean say that it doesn't exist. It just means that it may not be what it appears to be. Rupert Spira. This isn't the next truth that we need to blindly adopt. It's simply a perspective that we can entertain by keeping in the back of our mind that reality, including objects and other conscious beings that appear as absolutely real, may be the product of our awareness. Everything we consider to be real has no proof of existence except in our mind. And so, how can we trust our mind completely? Especially because we already know how deceptive and irrational our minds can be. Besides, if we get an insight into the true nature of reality, we will find that no words can ever describe it, and any attempt to put it into language can be the death of that insight. That's because our mind works by replacing any direct experience with a memory or a concept, and ends up confusing the limited memory with the actual experience. You can check our video on the secret to knowing the truth, where we explore the traps of the mind that cloud your judgment, which I will link in the description box below. So, this shouldn't be another intellectual concept that would actually cover up your direct experience. Go test it for yourself, meditate on what makes this world seem real to you, and question it with fresh eyes, as if you were just born today. And if you ever find yourself in a lucid dream, I would encourage you to stop and contemplate your reality for a few moments. You can touch the objects around you and see how real it seems, especially in deep sleep. Try to look for details and see how your mind generates amazing details that would fool anyone into thinking that these were real objects. And if you are interested in lucid dreams, I will be preparing a video with tips on how to do it, which I will link in the description box in the next few days. But my ultimate recommendation is to practice meditation, as it has helped me put to practice my intention of questioning and observing my reality objectively. And that is a simple breath and body awareness meditation that is only focused on observation. And so there is no visualizations, no mantras. You just sit and cultivate direct awareness of what's happening. If you are interested, you can check our guided meditations and our video on how to meditate on your own available on this channel. I hope that you found this video helpful in your own journey. If you have any questions or suggestions for future topics, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. I would also love to hear about any personal insight that you got from your own dreams. Thank you for joining me on this journey towards knowing ourselves better. Thank you.